Hello there, fellow cultists. This is DM Nell, and I am coming to you on another video just to do a little shameless self-promoting. This isn't one of my normal videos where I cover Shadow of the Demon Lord stuff, but instead I'm going to be covering some token sets that I have produced and have on sale on the Roll20 Marketplace. Now, this is linked to Shadow of the Demon Lord, so it's not total disconnect. In that I started creating these token sets for my Shadow of the Demon Lord game because a lot of the monsters in Shadow of the Demon Lord are not represented by tokens that you can find anywhere else. So I ended up having to draw my own. Luckily, I have some artistic skills, so I went ahead and produced a bunch of tokens, and then I figured, might as well make a little money off of this. So I created my first token set, put it up on Roll20, and now I'm up to 6 sets. So what I wanted to do today is just do a quick overview of all 6 of my sets and point out the tokens that are specific to being or linked to, I should say, to Shadow of the Demon Lord monsters. Okay, so this is the marketplace for Roll20, and of course you can find my sets on here. If you want to search for them individually, you can just type in bloody tokens and hit the search button, and then all my sets would, well, yeah, all 6 of my sets would come up. Boom, 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 boom. So as you can see here, they all have a similar look. But of course, they all feature different monsters. So let's start with Bloody Tokens 1. And my skill in producing tokens was still fairly rudimentary. So I kind of look at this and cringe a little bit sometimes, but they're still tokens that I use. So, okay, so what we have here are actually a number of tokens that are linked to Shadow of the Demon Lord. Starting with the Bloody Bag, which is the token that is actually not a standalone monster, but it actually works with the devil known as the Butcher, which was in an adventure that I had run, and so I needed a Bloody Bag, so I drew one. I also needed a Butcher, so I drew one of those, but that's not featured in this set. That's featured in a subsequent set. A Bogger, went ahead and drew one of those. And you can't go wrong with demons, any type of demons, because demons are varied sizes, shapes, and forms in Shadow of the Demon Lord. So here's a chainsaw demon and a crab demon, which of course can be used in Shadow of the Demon Lord. You got a crawling eye, which is another name for the lash crawler. I had to change the names up a little bit because I didn't want to be too obvious that it was Shadow of the Demon Lord, even though I did have permission from Robert Schwab to produce these likenesses. So, but at any rate, I didn't want to, do anything that would, potentially cause any legal problems later on down the road. Demon babies are, of course, demons. So you can always have any types of demons in Shadow of the Demon Lord. These are hoods. So this is the hood with the hood on, and this is a hood with the hood off. This is an Oculus, and this would be a what's the quilt thing called? I forget. The chorus, the crawling chorus, no, the ghastly chorus. That's it. This is a ghastly chorus. Let's see here. This was actually from a Age of Worms campaign that I had run prior to Shadow of the Demon Lord, and of course this is a horned ogre. You can use Minotaur in any games. This was just a creepy psycho mother. This was one of the player characters in one of my Shadow of the Demon Lord games, which was a Naga. Okay, and this is a gibbering maw. Not a gibbering maw. What's it called? A gluttonous maw? No, muttering maw. Muttering maw is what it's called. Yeah, Muttering Maw. Okay, so this is a Muttering Maw. This is a Harvester, and he's got the little scalpel there. Let's see, what else is Shadow the Demon Lord? Okay, this is a, I forget what these guys are called. No, not a burrowing. A broodling. This is a broodling. You're not going to find a broodling miniature anywhere or token anywhere. And that was pretty much it. And these are some more Age of Worms creations. But that is Bloody Tokens set number 1. Set number 2 has a few more Shadow the Demon Lord specific creatures, including the Amphisbaena, or Amphisbaena, however you pronounce that. You can't go wrong with Creepy Doll and Shadow the Demon Lord. These are, what are they called? Bloody Bones. These are Bloody Bones, which are in the core rulebook. I have a male one and a female one. Chain Zombie is actually a chained, what's it called? Chain bound. Oh, it says it right there. Duh. We got Clockwork Warrior for the Clockworks out there. We have a Dread Mother. That is Shadow the Demon Lord specific. Of course, you have another demon here. There's a Nightmare Demon, which, of course, looks very familiar to Nightmare on Elm Street fans. And here is the Butcher that I mentioned earlier. You can see his bloody bag back there. And this is a Lurk. It's the six-eyed lizard person thing. Here you have another demon, a poop demon, which is very appropriate to Shadow the Demon Lord, a possessed girl. Possession is a thing. And here we go with a Reen. This is very specific to the Shadow the Demon Lord. Also very reminiscent of Matrix drones. Here's a shotgun demon, because, shotguns and demons are things that should be mixed together. Here's another harvester. This one's looking a little bit more prim and proper. Tentacle Demon. Oh, I forgot. I skipped over the spirits. You got a bunch of spirits here. You can't go wrong with spirits. And a Tentacle Demon. So another type of demon that looks very phallic in nature. And then there's some possessed toys or some cursed toys that are included in here because, that is most definitely necessary in a Shadow of the Demon Lord game at some point. Well Girl was just inspired by the Ring movies, and so I figured I'd better throw her into a set. All right, so that's set 2. Set 3 is this one right down here, and this one has an Angler Man, and I forget, I believe that one came from the Queen of Gold adventure, as did the Boar Man. I wanted to draw what a changeling looks like in its normal state, so here's a changeling. Of course, we have a possessed or evil doll, which looks a lot like Chucky. Here's another Clockwork. This one I call a Clockwork Angel. Of course, possessed livestock is something that is a must in a Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign. And this is a desiccated one from the Tombs of Desolation set, I believe. This is just a giant elemental crystal monster thing. Here we have a couple of green drones that came from the green supplement. And this is a Troglodyte. Now, the Troglodytes in Shadow of the Demon Lord are very pale-skinned creatures, or not the reptilian creatures that they are in D&D. So I have a male and a female here. And that was from a Shadow of the Demon Lord supplement that I can't think of the name right off the top of my head. Okay, and then you have what looks a lot like Teletubbies, and that's because I had Teletubbies featured in one of my campaigns, and they're actually aliens that live on the moon of the Shadow of the Demon Lord world, called Tartarus. So I had them be indigenous creatures on that moon and made them suitably creepy. And then we have what I'm calling the Harrower. which is one of the servants of the Ashrakal, the Witch King. And this isn't what the Harrower actually looks like. This is actually Mumra from Thundercats. But I figured if I was going to run the Harrower in an adventure, which I am at some point, I wanted him to look like Mumra because I think it's funny and I think it is suitable, considering that he's entrapped in a pyramid. Then we have some Anubin beastmen, male and a female. Here's Alemia, also from the Tombs of the Desolation. Here's a mer person, which is inspired off of the Cabin in the Woods movie. Then we have the Nun, which is inspired off of the Nun movie. Sharkman and Vultureman are both in the, I think, Queen of Gold adventure path. All right, so that is Bloody Tokens 3. Let's hit Bloody Tokens 4. And this one has, as you can see right there, it's got a hobgoblin, which I think are hilarious. But I have another troglodyte here. They are subterranean, so I figured a crawling troglodyte is appropriate. Here's a couple of purple crayon monsters, which is from an adventure that I have written, but I've not yet run. And it's based off of a child's book called Harold and His Purple Crayon. And the crayon, actually, anything he draws with a crayon becomes a thing. And so I have an adventure where there's these two little kids that have a purple crayon, and they create monstrous things such as a Barney and a possessed teddy bear, or a giant purple teddy bear, not possessed. Here's a crab demon. That's appropriate. And then we have a couple of, in this set I have some of the tokens that were used by some of my player characters. So this is a D&D character, actually, but it can be used as a devil or a devilkin or whatever in Shadow of the Demon Lord. And of course we have a dragon man type thing, which can be a D&D thing, or it can be there's a supplement where there are dragon men, quote unquote, even though Robert Schwab hates the dragonborn race from D&D, but some players like them, so I figured I would draw one. Actually, one of my player characters had the character, so I went ahead and drew it. Or actually, maybe this was just an NPC. I can't remember if a player character had one or not. But anyway, okay. So I felt it was appropriate to have to draw a picture of the Emperor from Star Wars, because why not? He could represent any number of things, including a cultist or evil wizard. And then mutant goblins, because mutant goblins are a must in any campaign. I don't know if there is a supplement that has mutant goblins in there, but there should be if there isn't. Some more possessed livestock, because that's necessary. We got 4 of them here. And then we have a couple of hobgoblins. And I actually intend to draw more hobgoblins, covering more different types of paths. Here we have just basically your fighter type, and then your wizard type, which can be a wizard or it can be a cleric or whatever. But I just plan. I just love how all hobgoblins look exactly the same. I just think that's the funniest thing. This was actually inspired off of a YouTube video that creeped me out, a cat with hands. So I figured, that should be thrown into a game somewhere. I think you all know what that is. This was actually inspired by a World of Greyhawk demigod known as the Cat Lord. I had drawn him for an adventure I was going to run in D&D. Never got around to it, but I still had the token, so I figured I'd throw him in a set. This was inspired from the Jeepers Creepers movies. Here's the boy and girl with the purple crayon. And then Revenger, which of course is Venger from the D&D cartoon. I felt like that was necessary to have that in existence because it isn't, and it should have been. Okay, so let's move on to set number 5. And set number 5 includes the first dragons that I had drawn. But let's see what else. This is I forget what it's called, but this is in the the Exquisite Agony Devil supplement. Elementals, you can't go wrong. That can be an Earth Genie if you want in Shadow of the Demon Lord. Evil Cupid, another devil from the Exquisite Agony supplement. And of course we have some Beholders for D&D because I can't ignore that crowd, but you can't have too many Beholder tokens out there in existence. And you can also not have too many gibbering blobs or gibbering mouthers, I believe is what they're called. Okay, so the Shadow of the Demon Lord does have the Goblin King that looks like David Bowie. So I had to draw a David Bowie-esque Goblin King because it does exist in Shadow of the Demon Lord, and somebody may want him as an antagonist or at least an NPC at some point. So here you go. Thank you. You're welcome. And here's one of my first dragons for for my sets. And every token set needs to have a dragon in at some point. This is another D&D monster, and this is just a ghost, another spirit that can be used in Shadow of the Demon Lord or any horror game or D&D game. But of course, those of you who are Scooby-Doo fans will recognize where this came from. Here's another demon-looking thing. This is an undead-looking thing that I drew. It's actually going to be a fairly major NPC at some point in my Shadow of the Demon Lord game, but there you go. And of course, this is a Land of the Lost Lizard Man because, why not? This vampire was inspired by the movie Blade 2, where the vampires, the new vampires they had opening mandible and a tongue that came out that sucked the blood. Pretty creepy. But anyway, I like the vampire, so I went ahead and created one for here. I haven't included them in a Shadow of the Demon Lord game yet, but I intend to as a vampire variant. Mothman, got to have a Mothman in existence out there for those of you who like cryptids. And of course, this is a Displacer Beast from D&D. Here's a purple dragon. This Pterodol, I love this guy because he is inspired from a 70s TV horror show that was called Trilogy of Terror. And there was a little voodoo doll that came to life and terrorized this woman in her apartment. It's excellently bad movie, but I love the doll. Scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. Torment Devil is from the Exquisite Agony book again. And then you have the Veil Dragon, which is something that I created for my D&D game, a white dragon and a white dragon in flight. And then here is my rendition of the Witch King. Kind of wanted to do him over again because the Witch King actually should have pale skin, according to the lore. The men of God all have pale skin and dark hair. But when I was drawing this, for some reason, I was thinking, the desolation is a desert. They probably have dark skin in the desert, so I drew them with dark skin. But when I get a chance, I'm going to actually reskin him to be pale skinned because that's how he is actually supposed to look. But he has his magic sword, which is actually the soul sword that is also presented in the Exquisite Agony book. And somebody on one of the message boards that I frequent pointed that out to me when I had put out my video on the Witch King. So I forget who it was, but I do thank you and a shout out to that watcher of my videos. And the last one on the set is an alien xenomorph because once again that is a thing that has to exist in Token World. And one last set, and I shall be done with this video, and that is my Token 6 set that I just released. This set is Something that I had been kind of putting together over the last year, and there was a pretty long period between set 5 and set 6 because I was trying to create an adventure for me to put on sale that was Shadow the Demon Lord based, and put it out on Roll20. But it's been taking me so long to put this adventure together. It hasn't been play tested. My own home campaigns keep getting interrupted by real life, and so I have not been able to play test that adventure, and these tokens are just kind of sitting around collecting dust, virtual dust. So I figured it's time for me to put out another set and just include some of these tokens and be done with it. So that's why I put out this set 6 just this week, and it includes a lot of the tokens that I was going to include in that adventure. So here we have a house that is actually a possessed house or a monster house from that movie, Monster House, or it can be a house-sized mimic if you want. For you D&D players out there, some more spirits because you can never have too many of those. Here's a creepy boy and a creepy girl that I actually drew because I was wanting to run the He Sees You When You're Sleeping adventure for Shadow the Demon Lord, which is the Christmas-based adventure, and it's a Krampus adventure, which features little boys and girls that are kidnapped by Krampus and transformed into Krampus's creepy little servants. And so I wanted a couple of tokens to represent those. And so I drew creepy boy and creepy girl. So next Christmas, when you want to run He Sees You When You're Sleeping, here you go. There's a couple of perfect tokens for that adventure for you. I just drew this last week or the week before. And it was inspired by the latest release from Schwab Entertainment, which is a supplement called The Layer of Eggs, which features a monster based off of one of Schwab's artists that he partners with. And the artist drew the monster, and then Schwab created the monster lore and stats and everything based off of the art, which I think is a pretty cool way of creating monsters through a partnership like that. So I thought it was a cool monster, so I went ahead and drew a token for it and slapped it onto this set. Now, the next few are from another supplement that was released last year featuring filthy goblins. Or filth goblins, I think is what they're called. Now, I don't remember the name of the supplement, but filth goblins is the name of the monsters. And so this is featuring the filth goblins plus their den mother, I forget what that's called, and the maw. So if you purchase that set, here you go. You got perfect tokens for you running filth goblins. Here's a ghoul. Can't have too many ghouls. This is an NPC in my current campaign called the Gravedigger, who is actually a necromancer, and he looks a lot like Rob Zombie. So needed a token for him. There he is. Here's another demon. This one is a hearth demon because it lives inside a hearth, and so when it attacks players that think they're relaxing in front of a nice warm hearth, it basically pulls itself out of the wall and kills them all. And then here's a couple of devils or demons or whatever you want to portray them as: succubus, incubus. These are multi-use tokens that can be thrown into any demon or devil type of game. Here's another killer. Can be an undead, can be also a man of God, can be a troglodyte. Multi-purpose token there. Here's a giant brain. This brain, actually, in my original adventure that I'm writing, is in the attic of this house. And so when the players go to the attic, they are faced with this brain that they have to fight. But I figure it can also be an Illithid elder brain. So why not throw it into the set? And I did. Here's a Leshy or a Treant for you D&D folks. Here's another killer that can again be either a troglodyte or a zombie or a ghoul or whatever you want. Here's another spirit thing. Can be a specter, can be a phantom, whatever. Here's a bunch of crawling severed parts. There is a monster called the Severed in the Tales of the Tombs of the Desolation, and so that's just one severed body part. So here's a swarm for your gaming pleasure. And then, of course, shadows are a thing in Shadow of the Demon Lord and D&D. So I threw a shadow in there because I actually need a shadow and haven't purchased a token set with a shadow in it. And they're fairly easy to draw. So went ahead and pumped one out fairly quickly and figured I'd throw it up here on my sixth set. So that's pretty much it. Again, all my tokens are on the Roll20 Marketplace for sale. Trying to figure out a way how to sell them on Drive-Thru RPG and also other virtual tabletop platforms. But for now, they are exclusively on Roll20. So if you're interested in any of these tokens and you want to purchase them, you can run out to the Roll20 Marketplace, purchase it there, and then you can download the set so that you own them on your computer and you don't necessarily have to keep coming back to Roll20 if that's not your virtual tabletop of choice. So with that, I will go ahead and let you all go. Appreciate your watching the video. Appreciate if you purchase any of my token sets. I do this on the side for funsies and for my games, and earning a little bit of money on the side doesn't hurt these days. So if you are interested, then please feel free to throw your money at me. So with that, I will let you all go. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on my next video. Oh, sorry. Hail.